Our lesson for today is going to be adding common fractions with unrelated denominators. Your learning target is using multiples to find a common denominator when you add fractions with unrelated denominators. You're also going to be able to model fractions with unrelated denominators using an area model, which we've done before. Remember we learned yesterday how to make equivalent fractions with an anchor chart? Well, for example, how would you change 1/2 to find a common denominator? Well, we know we're going to have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Let's go ahead and try that. 1/2 times 4/4 is going to equal 4/8. That's giving us a common denominator, and we found out that it's equivalent fraction. I know looking at our chart on the right-hand side there, we know multiplying and dividing a fraction by another fraction that is equal to 1. So I can multiply 1/3 times 2/2, 4/4, 10/10. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm multiplying it by the total of 1, I'm going to find an equivalent fraction. We're going to pause for a minute so you can copy the anchor chart on the right-hand side there. Go ahead and do that in your journal. And then when you're done with that, we're going to look at those on the right-hand side there. We know with multiplication and division for both of them, if the numerator and the denominator of a fraction are both multiplied by the same number, except for 0, you're going to find an equivalent fraction. Looking at our picture on the right-hand side here, our top one's the 2/3, our bottom one is 6/9. So we know we can always just draw those lines through there because we multiplied by 3/3. So 2/3, and I cut the next picture here into 3 pieces, and I ended up with 6/9. Same thing here for our division. Go ahead and pause the video and copy the chart on the left. Okay, let's look at this chart. What fractions do these strips represent or show? I've got 2/3, 4/6, 6/9. Think about it for a second. Oh, 2/3 must be 2/3. Therefore, all the ones that are following, the 12/18, the 14/21, those are all equivalent fractions to 2/3. In order to go from 2/3 to 4/6, I had to multiply by 2/2. Remember, 2/2 is the same equal as 1 when the denominator and the numerator are the same. I look at the bottom here, our next bar, and I notice that 4/5, 8/10, 12/15, those two are going to be equivalent fractions to 4/5. What can you find that's the same in both pairs of these strips, and what does that mean? Go ahead and mark it here. I notice that the denominator is 15 for both of these. We notice that both of them share the multiples of 15, but if you look here, we know 12/15 is greater than 10/15. Therefore, 4/5 is always going to be greater than 2/3. If I had extended the pattern, my next part over here would have been 20/30. And extending it here, I know 24/30 is greater than 20/30. So therefore, proving again, 4/5 is greater than 2/3. Okay, let's pretend we're working with pizzas. A family made 2 pizzas that were the same size, illustrated by our boxes below here. They cut one into 4 equal parts and the other one into 6 equal parts. After dinner, 1 piece of each pizza was left over. What could we write about the pizzas? What kind of picture could we draw using those? Think about it. How can we make both denominators the same? Well, I'm looking at the 4 and the 6. They're not common denominators, but they do share common multiples. I know if I count by 4s, I go 4, 8, 12. And if I count by 6s, I'm going to go 6, 12. So we know that 12 is going to be a common denominator for 1/4 and 1/6. Let's go ahead and draw our picture here. We're going to redraw it, and we're going to make 1/4 into 3/12, and we're going to make 1/6 into 2/12. So looking at the picture, I've got 1/4 over here, and I just happen to cut that into 3 parts. So I'm going to take the 1/4, I'm going to multiply it by 3/3, and you can see the 3 pieces, and we end up with the 3/12. My 1/6, in order to get 6 to 12, I've got to multiply it by 2, or 2/2 to end up with my 2/12. All right, we've got Mom making sandwiches. She's got 2 of them. She's cut them one into 3 equal parts and the other into 4 equal pieces. After lunch, there was 1 piece of each sandwich left over. Below, you're going to write your expression on how you would find out how much is left over. Think about what would the expression say, how would it look, and if you can find a fraction equivalent without using these pictures to help. We're going to multiply. Yes, we need to multiply. And again, when you multiply to find a common denominator, the numerator and the denominator need to be the same. Okay, we're going to look at the pieces that are left over at the party here. On this slide and the next slide, those are going to be your independent work that have to be finished before we do small group. So looking at our pizzas, yes, it looks familiar to one we've done previously. And you're going to write the equation in each of these boxes. So you'll type in what fraction do you see for each of those. Okay, then you're going to continue to the next slide here. And you're going to notice, what do you notice about the denominators of the fraction? We know that the denominators are all different, so we can't add them together yet. So think about how you can complete each sentence below and put your answers in the box. Okay, stop and think before you guys type it in there. Remember, you cannot add or subtract fractions unless the denominators are the same. You've got to find that common denominator. Once you completed the previous slide, you're going to stop, and the rest is going to be discussed during small group. Make sure you guys have it ready. Good luck.